Hello, chat! Welcome to the stream. Let me just set everything back up so that it looks normal. Where did you get the name? Probably ONG or whatever that other guy's name is. Hello, chat. Welcome to the stream. Say hi.
Hi there, guys.
Hi. Hello, chat. Welcome to the stream. I am putting on a fake enthusiastic face because today is a very sad day in the gamer community and YouTube community. MatPat is leaving YouTube today. Okay, so I'm just going to do a poll, because why not? F or 07? Because, like, there are two different ways to do respects nowadays. F or 07. So I just made a poll saying FRO children for respects. But yeah, chat. So we are going to be watching the best theories, the top theories, the oldest theories. So yeah, we can check that out. Declan is one of the best YouTube. Thank you very much. So okay. I think one day he could. I mean, I technically did. I technically did that one time he sent me the poster. Like, I think technically that counts as a collab. It's definitely not as cool as, like, playing Roblox together, but hey, it's something. Know what I mean?
Sure enough.
So, okay, FNAF theory. Why did I not expect all of his top theories to be FNAF? Thinking about it, how did I not think that? Yeah. So, let's go to his oldest theory. This is not a theory, this is his past. So this is his very first theory. Is Chronos Trigger time travel accurate? So let's take a look at this. What's that? Okay.
Strap into your DeLorean and accelerate to 88 miles per hour because we're talking about time travel.
It's been a ton of sleep, I'll be back in time. Hello Internet and welcome to Game Theory, gaming's tangential learning experience. I remember the first intro, so this is the third stream in a row Cream has used different languages to communicate, saying hi. So let's just see what he's saying this time around. It's something vaguely but slightly different every stream. Been a ton of sleep. Hello, Cream Cookies. Welcome to the stream. Okay, I guess. Cut that. So, let's restart that now. Okay.
Strap into your DeLorean and accelerate to 88 miles per hour because we're talking about time travel.
It's been a ton of sleep, I'll be back in time. Hello Internet and welcome to Game Theory, gaming's tangential learning experience.
Through these videos, we hope you'll find more reasons to appreciate some of your favorite games, while sparking some interest in new real-world topics. On this, our inaugural episode, we'll be looking at one of my all-time favorite RPGs, Chrono Trigger, and analyzing what, if anything, the game can teach us about its core gameplay mechanic, time travel. We'll start off by looking at the first method of time travel used in the game. The adventure kicks off with a science experiment gone wrong. Take one teleportation pod, throw in a magical pendant, and bada bing bada boom,
bada bing bada boom,
torn the time-space continuum. The characters eventually refer to these fourth dimension portals as time gates. But is it fact or fiction? Are there any real-world equivalents to these phenomena? Well, Square, Chrono's developer, knows what they were talking about because, believe it or not, there have been reports of real-world time gates. They're officially called time slips. Paranormal events where a group of people travel through time via some unknown, accidental, or mystical way.
That doesn't seem real. So I know that if you, go through space super fast, you can actually time travel. I know that, but that what he just said does not seem right.
The reports are, well, I'll let you be the judge. This link will take you to some videos outlining a few of these stories. Specifically
that's the
one from
Rickroll,
1979
right?
about a time-tripping hotel.
That's the Rickroll URL, I think. Is that the Rickroll URL? I can't tell if that's the Rickroll URL. Oh, it's deleted. That's sauce.
About its core gameplay mechanics.
That really.
Normal events where a group of people travel through time via some unknown, accidental, or mystical way. The reports are, well, I'll let you be the judge.
Yeah.
This link will take you to some videos outlining a few of these stories, specifically one from 1979 about a time-tripping hotel. Chrono's time gates are also very reminiscent of wormholes, specifically traversable wormholes, a theoretical physics concept that is thought to serve as a shortcut through time and space. The Morris Thorne wormhole, the first ever proposed, was thought to be held open by some spherical exotic matter and, surprisingly, look very similar to the ones found in the game. Point, Chrono. That covers one mode of transportation found in the game, but what about the time machine, the aptly named Epic? Well, to analyze this, we need to examine how it works, and to do that, let's look at its animation. When you set a course for another era, the Epic speeds up, presumably flies around the world because it disappears on one half of the screen only to reappear on the other side, and then vanishes into a flash of light.
That means it has to go...
accurate is it?
Okay, I've seen stuff about that before. That means it would have to go all the way, like, around the world and come back in just, like, a few seconds or whatever. That's odd.
Once again, I am happy to say that it's really not that far from the truth. According to Einstein's theories of relativity, if we could achieve the speed approaching the speed of light, a dilation of time would occur, causing time to pass slower on the moving body relative
this was
to that
made in
on Earth,
PowerPoint. It looks
possible
like
to travel into the future. So let's take it one step further. Does the Epic actually reach these enormous speeds? The whole animation takes 3 seconds, so figuring that the circumference of the Earth is about 24,900 miles at the equator, you're traveling at speeds
he's doing the thing I just talked about.
300 miles per second.
Yikes.
Now compare that to the speed of light, which is 186,000 miles per second, and Chrono and the gang don't come close. But I would hazard to say that even at their speeds, some time dilation effects would occur. And now it's time for a segment I like to call
Deep Thoughts in Gaming.
Say, can you say yeah, I know what the Star Spangled Banner is showing us. What? I'm debating whether I time you out for spam.
This week's Deep Thought is a point in the Chrono story that I skimmed over when I was 9 years old playing the game for the first time. Let's set the scene.
Is that really mapped out when he was 9? Looks sort of like him.
Member
like, it looks like Ollie, his son.
Is mistaken for the kingdom's kidnapped queen. Thinking that their lost queen has returned, the medieval search party ends, thus ensuring the death of the real queen. As a result, Marl, who is really a princess and the descendant of the lost queen, disappears completely. In essence, what my impatient 9-year-old mind couldn't understand at the time was the game designers setting up what is called a grandfather paradox.
Like,
it goes something like this. A time traveler goes back in time to kill his grandfather before the grandfather meets his future wife. This murder would then prevent one of the time traveler's parents from being born, and thus the time traveler himself from being born, which in turn means that he could never go back in time to kill the grandfather in the first place. Tricky, right? But what's it mean? Some use the grandfather paradox as evidence that time travel
I don't know what that is saying.
Others, like physicists Igor Novikov and
I'm gonna look
Thorne,
at this on
a by
second
proposing that any time travel must be self-consistent. That is, anything a time traveler does has always been a part of history, or in other words,
I'm sorry, Onas, I don't know what that means. I'm going to time you out for 5 minutes. Actually,
so, when Chrono and the team rescue the real queen, they preserve the original timeline, but alter slightly the way it was achieved. There is, of course, a third option, the possibility of parallel universes and alternate timelines.
I believe in I believe in alternate universes and parallel timelines, personally. Like, I think that there's another universe Bro, what? Like, he was spamming the Star Spangled Banner and then, like, a random thing. I'm confused, personally. But, I don't know. I'd also
touch on string theory. We'll save that for when we talk about Kirby's Epic Yarn. And now it's time for my final thought.
Now that's final
To this
thought.
day, I love Chrono Trigger. The time mechanic is ingenious and brilliantly implemented, the story is epic, and the worlds you explore are all fully realized. But beyond that, we've seen today that it definitely provides a fairly accurate portrayal of time travel as it's currently envisioned. But here's the take-home question.
Okay.
Is it possible? Will we be able to fly to the past to save our prehistoric ancestors, or jump forward to fight in post-apocalyptic futures? The answer to that comes in two parts.
I feel like time
Probably
travel
not,
will be
and
possible in,
maybe,
like,
but probably not. It's currently unknown if backwards
hundreds
time
of
travel is
years.
possible. Just look
Like,
at the grandfather
it'll
paradox,
happen,
and you'll
but
see
sometime
just
in, like,
one
the
of
very
many
far
of its
future. You know what I
complications.
mean?
Stephen Hawking, the
I
famous
don't.
theoretical
Do you think
physicist,
that time
said
travel
this,
will ever
if
happen
travel
in,
to
like,
the past
hundreds of
is
years?
No, I
possible,
don't.
then where are all the
Okay.
tourists
Oh,
from the
dude.
future? Well, it's either that it's not possible,
Time is
or we
time,
live in a
and
time
once
that
it's
no one
gone,
wants
it's
to
gone.
visit. So seeing dinosaurs or visiting King
That's
Arthur's
just my
court
opinion.
probably won't be happening without
So-
going to a museum. But that doesn't rule out time travel completely. Einstein's theory of relativity showed the world a possible doorway to the future, and some
Oh.
small-scale experiments have actually verified that
Arise, ye
velocity-based
who
time
refuse
travel
to
is
stop.
possible. In
Stop
short,
spamming
there's a lot of
random
complicated
things.
theories,
Showing
and
us.
we're a long way off technologically, but who knows what tomorrow may bring. I mean, you don't find the time machine in the game until the year 2300, so we have a while to wait. But then again, the world was supposed to end in 1999. Anyway, what comes next? Only time will tell. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so we always used. Does that mean he didn't always have? He didn't always say that's just a theory? Wow. I didn't know that. Alright, let's find a popular theory. Selena on the. Everyone by now has probably seen Sansa's Nest. Dear to God. Okay, let's search other channels. Let's see if we can get another channel. Hello, hey, Incredikid, welcome to the stream. Moana's identity revealed.
In Disney's Moana, we see former wrestler Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson play Maui, a powerful Polynesian demigod. That makes sense. But
Imagine how long ago was this? 2017, and he was still saying former famous wrestler. Now everyone just calls The Rock. Yeah, with. That is a sneak peek of the. Okay. Another timeout, bud. Sorry, but that's weird. Very, very weird.
who knew he could sing? Well, old
What
school
can I
wrestling
say?
fans, that's who.
Bright light city, gonna set my soul on fire. So viva Rock Vegas!
Viva Rock Vegas, indeed. From that to highest earning actor in the world? Oh man, you have come a long way, Dwayne.
I'm putting the headphones back on because I love this improvement. That's wild. He's back wrestling?
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, where Rock, Mr. Rock, Dwayne. Can I call you Dwayne? If you're watching, Dwayne, no need to thank me for dredging up all those old
Johnson.
embarrassing clips. What else can I say except for, you're welcome.
welcome.
Segue
That-
to Moana, the new Disney classic that needs no introduction. There's a lot to love with Moana, from the gorgeous visuals to songs written by the guy who made musicals cool again, Lin-Manuel Miranda, to a chicken obviously
Hamilton
named
and
after the guy
Encanto.
reminding us that this is library. library.
Hey! This is library.
Or just me impersonating a Valley girl. Hey! While Lilo and Stitch gave us a small glimpse of Hawaiian culture, Moana really feels like it's celebrating the legends and traditions of all of Polynesia, stories that have been almost completely absent in pop culture history. Now, if you're a regular watcher of this series, you might be thinking to yourself, yeah, Matt Pat, talk all you want about how nice this movie is. I just know that you're gonna tell me that Moana is the devil, or that Maui is a serial killer, or that the pig is actually Moana's brother. And you know what? I can't blame you for that, dear theorist. In the recent past, my theories on lighthearted animated movies have tended to stray a bit to the dark side. But you've judged me too quickly because for today's Moana theory, I turned over a new leaf. I tried something different and I focused on something positive. And after looking at all the fantastical elements of Moana as well as some Polynesian mythology, my theory ended up being Moana is dead. Oh, I'm like the living embodiment of Dark Kermit. But seriously, there are some weird happenings going on in Moana's little boating adventure that need an explanation. The first and biggest red flag that set off my theorist sense was that she's able to follow Maui into Lalotai, the realm of monsters. I mean, at the very least, this extended fall into the water should kill her. The surface tension of water makes landing on it from a very high place like landing on concrete. And the movie even makes multiple jokes about how long the fall is and the fact that she should be dead after it.
Well, she's dead.
Sure, all this is fine for Maui because he's a demigod, but it just seemed like something that a human shouldn't be able to do. So I looked it up and learned that in early drafts of the movie, Lalotai was described as a place for ancestral spirits, i.e. the dead. And that the directors of the movie, John Musker and Ron Clements, still refer to it as the underworld in the special features of the film.
First entered the underworld.
So my fears about the scene weren't getting any better, but I swear to you, Internet, I was determined to stay positive. Maybe in Polynesian myth, humans can go to the underworld. So I dug even deeper and learned that the Polynesian underworld is usually called Pulotu rather than Lalotai. And according to William Mariner, an English writer who lived in Tonga in the early 19th century, Pulotu was said to be both invisible and inaccessible to mortals. We even get a hint of that in the movie when Tamatoa, the giant coconut crab, expresses confusion about Moana's presence in Lalotai, asking her,
"What are you doing down here in the realm of the month?" Just pick an eye, babe.
So that was red flag number one. Add to it the fact that Moana frequently sees the spirit of her dead grandmother Tala, and you've got yourself no ordinary day for a mere mortal. There's even a scene in the movie that could definitely have killed her. The first time Moana tries to sail beyond the reef, her boat gets overturned by a large wave. She's then tossed into the water, the canoe bonks her on the head, and her foot gets stuck under a piece of coral. I mean, I'm no doctor, but getting smacked in the head by a large piece of wood, then getting trapped underwater for an extended period of time seems pretty bad for your health. And from that point forward, Moana seems like she's impervious to harm. Look, I'm not even having to dig into genetics or weird scientific connections. This one is outright handed to me. Kind of. You see, on the surface, the idea of Moana being dead is interesting and would make for a great clickbait thumbnail. But if we look again, the evidence doesn't hold up. For instance, if that reef crash is indeed the moment where she passes on, then the people in her village are interacting with a ghost for an awfully long amount of time like it's no big deal. And interacting is one thing, but making a teenage ghost girl your next chief, that is where I draw the line. Also, it's worth noting that the whole thing about her talking to her grandmother's spirit is rooted in Polynesian legend. According to anthropologist Zachary Graves, in traditional Polynesian culture, ghosts are often thought to interact with the living, whether for good or for evil. And if they're both dead, why is Grandma a glowing white spirit thingy and Moana is just Moana? The theory just falls apart. And yet, there's something fishy still going on because, let's face it, none of this explains my initial concern. Why Moana can go to Lalotai, survive that fall into the underworld, land of ancestors, realm of monsters. Moana may not be dead, but she is something. So I kept digging, determined to figure out what exactly was going on, and I found out that my original theory of her being dead couldn't have been more wrong. In fact, when I stepped back to look at all the evidence, she's the exact opposite of being dead. Moana is a god.
What?
Well, demigod, actually. She's just like Maui. Let me explain. First, Moana's relationship with the water is a bit weird, right? After decades of the heart of Te Fiti being missing, the ocean just chooses Moana? What? Because she saved a baby turtle? I don't think so. Who wouldn't save a cute baby sea turtle? It just seems weird. Why her and why now? What makes Moana so special? More on that in a minute. Also, the ocean's treatment of her is pretty inconsistent.
Some
She almost
sea
drowns in her
dog.
first boating adventure, but after that moment, she's virtually invulnerable to the sea. Every time Maui throws her off the boat, she gets thrown right back on. When she asks the sea to help her find Maui, yes, she gets caught in a storm, but it's a storm that washes her up on the shore of Maui's island. And every time the heart of Te Fiti goes into the drink, the ocean spits it right back at her like a big petrified loogie. Yeah, we're making phlegm jokes. When I wrote it, I thought it was funny,
What?
but now looking back, it's not. It's not at all. Anyhow, all of these demonstrate how Moana and the sea are BFFs, but the one moment that's really striking is at the very end of the movie when, spoiler alert, Moana orders the ocean to move, fish, get out the way, so that she can confront Te Kā and the water parts right in front of her to clear a path on the ocean floor. Now, obviously, this is very reminiscent of the iconic scene in the Bible where Moses parts the Red Sea with the divine power of God on his side. And if this was what the movie was referencing, it would hurt my case for Moana being a demigod since Moses is a mortal. But remember, we're talking about Polynesian beliefs. Drawing a parallel to a Bible
Yeah,
verse here doesn't make a
exactly.
whole lot of sense.
Yeah,
what
exactly
would
what I
really
follow
help me out,
agree.
though, is if there were some sort of similar story from Polynesian mythology. And wouldn't you know it, I've got one. One Hawaiian legend tells of Kane Apua, who's described as a god with a human form, who was able to cause water to flow from rocks and make a safe passage across the sea. Now, Maui certainly doesn't have that kind of power. If he did, he could have escaped from his island long before his 1,000-year exile was up. So it seems likely that the one calling the shots here is Moana herself. The second thing that points to Moana being more than human is simply her name. The name Moana means ocean or deep sea in a few of the Pacific languages, from Maori to Hawaiian. And while the sea could have chosen Moana because it's like, hey girl, we got the same name, so I'm gonna send you on a quest, it's much more likely that Disney's continuing the Polynesian pattern of having deities whose names are the things that they're gods of. For example, Te Fiti is the Maori god of wind and storms. Translated, the name Tafiri means wind. Pele is a Polynesian god of fire whose name means volcano, and Rangi is a
Fire.
god of the sky whose name means, say it with me now, Skittles. Sorry, I was just making sure you're paying attention. Of course, it means sky. Now,
okay.
maybe the
That-
writers
that
of
makes a lot
Moana
more
simply
sense.
aren't very creative and arbitrarily chose a name that means water, but does that sound like Disney? Or is it more likely that the creators of this movie, who literally formed a full oceanic trust of advisors to make sure they honored the culture their movie was portraying, chose the kind of name that would be given to a demigod of the sea? Still, all this leaves us with one problem. Demigods don't just come out of nowhere. Either
Hello,
they're born
internet! Yo, what is up? Tis Shorts. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you again.
to divine parents, or else they're somehow created. Like Maui when his parents tossed him into the sea and he presumably died, so maybe that means Moana died. No! Stop it!
Yeet.
Turned away from that road and I am not looking back. Part 3 of the evidence that Moana isn't mortal, and prepare to have your mind blown, is about her lineage. Now, both of Moana's parents, Tui and Sina, appear to be mortals, but that's not quite the end of the story. For starters, Grandmother Tala, with whom Moana has a particularly close relationship, might not be mortal herself. Tala is the name of the goddess of the stars in Tagalog myth, and oh, would you look at that, she just so happens to use the stars to demonstrate to Moana how she can find Maui. Now, obviously that's incidental, but get ready, cause here's the doozy. Moana's mother's name is Sina. Completely unrelated. Sina happens to be the name of a famous maiden from Polynesian mythology. This
I
maiden
love
was
that
loved by
Pat,
an
he
eel,
just
but
gifted
Sina
me
the
with
maiden
this
was like,
second
ew, gross, eel, reported the problem to her husband, who then killed the eel and buried its carcass. From that dead eel sprang the coconut tree, and thus coconuts came into the world. Does that sound like a familiar story? It should, because it's a story
Coconuts.
that Maui sings about in the
Yeah,
song
exactly.
You're Welcome.
I killed an eel, I buried its guts, sprouted a tree, now you got coconuts.
Oh yeah, did I mention that Sina's husband in that legend is named Maui? And not just some dude named Maui, but the trickster demigod. Tui, you are not the father! Remember that Moana's quote-unquote father, the chief, is the one who forbids her to sail beyond the reef. But when her mother discovers that she's going to sail off secretly into the night, she says nothing. She actually helps Moana pack her things and sends her on her way. That always felt like such a weird moment to me, but it makes a whole lot more sense when her mother sees this dangerous voyage as inevitable. Moana as a demigod being compelled to go out and accomplish greater things, and along the way, find her real father. A father whose immortal blood is the key to her own powers over the ocean. That's right, Moana is the daughter of Maui. Now, I admit nowhere was I able to find that Moana is the name of the child of Maui and Sina, so getting 100% confirmed status on this is impossible unless one of the creators of the movie steps forward and says yay. But I was able to find one last mind blow for you that rockets this thing into the stratosphere.
Okay.
One of the children Sina and Maui did have was named Kamapua'a, and this wasn't just any ordinary kid. According to the lore, it actually looked like a pig. Huh. Ever wonder why the people of Montanui didn't eat Moana's pet pig if they had no fish and failing crops? Well, that pig's name is Pua, which sounds an awful lot like it's short for Kamapua'a. That's right, the pig in Moana is indeed Moana's brother. Talk about your weird family
Did he just say that that wasn't something he was going to talk about? Why are...
tree. So there you have it. No serial killers, no
We're
devils, but a
exposing
pig
Matt
that's
Brown
related
on
to
his
our
last
latest
day.
Disney princess and a hidden godlike lineage that Moana will never know about. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut. Ring the subscription bell, my friends. Not
Nice. These best moments. So let's go back to game theory. We went on to the other channels for a second. What? For real though, that is crazy. It's cut. Yep. But yeah, so let's watch the Rainbow Friends theory. I don't think I've seen that one. I think I've seen the first one, but I think this is the second one.
hello, Internet.
Right?
Welcome
Oh.
to Game Theory.
Oh, no, that won't slide. Who's in the back? My grandmother.
Hi.
Hola, amigo. Pikmin bat. What is bro battling in Pikmin? I mean, I know bro's battling Sheena. Okay, that. But anyway, okay, that won't slide, little bro. We like the game theory intro over here, so we ain't letting the intro not being here slide. Yeah, roll the intro.
Bro.
Hello,
that's the
Internet.
stuff. Hello,
Welcome to
Internet.
Game
Welcome.
Theory. Right, okay, let's actually watch this. Oh, okay. Okay, here we go.
The show that builds its theories one Roblox at a time. Man, this summer really is the season of indie horror sequels. Security Breach is getting DLC, Project Playtime just got a big new update, and I'm pretty sure Garten Banban 4 and 5
I
and
need to
6 will
move.
probably drop any day now. Add in the demo for the Cooking Companion spin-off, and honestly, we've got ourselves an infinity gauntlet of indie horror. I guess you could call it the Indinity Gauntlet. I honestly feel like I need to release an entire apology video for that one joke. But speaking of multicolored gemstones, there is one other brightly colored sequel that just dropped. Rainbow Friends Chapter 2. In case you missed our last theory on Rainbow Friends, let me catch you up. A school bus heading to an amusement park called Oddworld gets sent down the wrong path, causing the bus to crash and everyone inside to wind up inside a mysterious facility. It seems to be the remains of an old TV show museum and play park dedicated to the Rainbow Funtime Friends, a cast of characters from an old animated TV show. Thanks to some plaques and pictures scattered throughout the building, we discovered that the Friends were created by a man called Oswald D. Davis and his partner Trenton, with this facility specifically designed to bring the Rainbow Friends to life. Because this is an indie horror game though, you can probably guess how well that went. In 1991, shortly after having their first guest, the facility was shut down, as evidenced by long-forgotten computer login screens sprinkled throughout the game map, leading us to the events of Chapter 1, where we're trapped for 5 days by someone who appears to be the Red Rainbow Friend, though official merch only lists him as just the Scientist. If we manage to survive for the 5 days, we're chased through the vents and eventually escape from the facility. Chapter 2 then picks up immediately after that, leading you to a fenced-off area and an old man trying to break in. Probably should be using some wire parsnips instead of scissors to cut through that fence, but hey, what do I know? Anyway, we eventually make our way into Oddworld, the amusement park that we were headed to at the start of Chapter 1. And clearly, Oddworld is also dedicated to the Rainbow Funtime friends, with different parts of the park branded around each of the different characters. Green's Drop Ride, Purple's Maze Lair, Blue's Castle, and Orange's Cavern Coaster. Speaking of Orange, he's not here until the finale of the chapter.
Oh, he's adorable. He's my favorite.
And while my bestest boy may indeed be missing, Red seems to have brought with him some new additions to the crew, specifically Yellow and Cyan, to hunt us down in any and all ways they can. Just like in Chapter 1, we're tasked with running around collecting items required for our escape. Only this time, instead of being trapped here for days, we're only having to survive for a couple of hours. A few gas canisters and one giant cake later, we escape the facility on the park's roller coaster. But of course, the end never truly means the end. The chapter closes with the promise of more ahead. Now, obviously, while the game has us busy looking around for bags of sugar and light bulbs, my eyes were peeled for the real important thing to collect, the lore!
Why did I see that coming?
Looking for love and looking for lore.
Yes,
But this time, it's not there. Or at least, it's not all there. You see, the lore of Rainbow Friends after Chapter 2 is so much more than just this one game and its small handful of primary colored characters. To solve this one, we're gonna have to span a literal empire of popular Roblox games connected by a shadowy organization and overseen by a mysterious businessman out for blood. And that, my friends, is our journey for today. But first, we gotta answer the question that everyone has when they first boot up Chapter 2. Who the heck's
Who
the
is
old guy?
this
Even me
guy?
during my
I'm
playthrough,
Spire.
I just couldn't shake the fact that something was off about this guy.
Let's hope this works. I'm not gonna skip this. I'm not gonna vote to skip. Poke. Poke. What the? Oh no. Oh no, old man.
Gosh. Oh my
Oh, that was a severe head trauma right there. Oh, he's definitely got a concussion. Whoa, how'd I get up here? Who even are you? Do I care about you? No.
And let's be honest with ourselves, this guy is sus. We start the game off and we find him breaking into a facility, and then we go, yeah, that seems like a totally
Rainbow
trustworthy
Friends
thing to
sounds
do.
almost
From
like-
there we just
Tis Shorts. I've never seen someone refer to Rainbow Friends as similar to Poppy Playtime. That's interesting.
blindly
though.
do everything he asks? Not a great plan. But what's even more suspicious about this guy is that he simultaneously knows more about Oddworld and less about it than he lets on. On one hand, he's trying to break in, which shows that he's trying to do something here. Maybe sabotage Red Guy or spy on the experiments that are going on. It's unclear. Our old man also seems very familiar with the fact that the Rainbow Friends are now bloodthirsty monsters, considering when he sees Blue running around, he knows that it's suddenly a sign of danger.
Is that Blue? Dabu dee dabu die? Oh no. Coming here was a mistake.
He also knows about the lookie that's blocking our path and how it can be lured away with Cake, or how you can escape from being caught by Yellow. All of that is some pretty insider knowledge. He's not just familiar with these creatures, he's experienced with their inner workings and mechanics. On the other hand though, as soon as he senses danger, he immediately regrets his decision to break in.
Oh no. Coming here was a mistake. We need to find a way out of here and fast. Literally the way we came. You were literally snipping things into the fence. We could probably get out of there.
So he wanted to do something in the park and noticed that the creatures are dangerous, but wasn't aware that they're currently active. Additionally, he repeatedly lies to us, as evidenced by him tasking us to find light bulbs to call for help, only to then be surprised that we were able to find an SOS light hidden inside.
Wait, there was actually an SOS light. I mean, wow! You guys must be good at finding things.
So, who is the old man? Well, let's take a look at his design. A leather jacket, thick-rimmed glasses, and a smirk, which makes him the perfect match for one of the two characters that we learned about in Chapter 1, Trenton, co-founder of the Rainbow Friends. It seems like a pretty open and shut case. Everything about these two guys match, except longtime theorists will realize that there's a slight hole with my plan. In my previous theory, I said that Oswald turned Trenton into Red, but in this game, we see both characters existing simultaneously. So what's the deal with that? I was wrong. It's easy as that. Red isn't Trenton. See, I can't admit when I'm wrong. It would seem that Trenton's back in the Rainbow Friends family for something. But what? Well, we can actually get hints to that from the first two chapters. First things first, obviously Trenton is much older now than he is in the picture from Chapter 1. And that's because the portrait is from when the company first started, 1972. You see, before entering Oddworld at the start of the chapter, we can actually go off to the side of the fence in the lobby area and activate a generator here. The code for the generator indicator is 1972. All it does is activate this little conveyor belt with a cinder block on it, but that right there is telling us that the date matters. I would guess that it's likely acting as the start to the Rainbow Funtime Friends franchise. Why would I say that? Well, as we've seen with other indie horror franchises, the 70s tends to be a good starting
Everything comes back to FNAF if MatPat covers it.
date for failed kids franchises. And they're not just making up these dates out of thin air either. The 70s were a huge time for the types of kids programming that Rainbow Funtime Friends was probably like. This was the era of Mr. Rogers, the Electric Company, the New Zoo
Blue's
Review.
Clues.
Sure, they weren't animated,
No,
but
that
you
was
had
later
these
than
big casts of
1970s,
characters with
probably.
life-sized
Like, way
puppets and
later.
designs that really didn't mesh together all that well. Random animals and monsters and dinosaurs all mixed together. It was the early days for this sort of programming, and so whatever popped into your head was kind of what worked, just like the assemblage of characters that we get with Rainbow Friends. Yellow Dino, Green Monster, Blue Person, Orange Gator, and Purple Arm Thingy. This timeline also roughly coincides with a similar sort of kids show at the time, a British program by the name Rainbow, which also was popular all throughout the 70s.
Hurry
up, I'm starving.
Zippy, you always want people to do things for you. I'm going to zip you up.
Whoa.
There's even an episode of Rainbow named
Can't
Friends. That said, this is more of an interesting coincidence than anything. After watching a few episodes of the show, there doesn't seem to be all that much connecting the two. I just thought it was worth calling out. So if Trenton and Oswald started the series in 1972, what happened? Well, throughout the chapter, there are hints to a rivalry between the two of these characters. In a control room near Orange's roller coaster, we can see a whiteboard with various messages smudged out, including call animal control and change garage code. Now, the animal control line is likely a reference to the moment that the characters escaped. Throughout chapter 1, we saw that the Rainbow Friends were, at least for a period of time, forced to live in stables under the facility, even having to be chained up in order to be showered. They were treated like animals, so calling animal control the day they escape and happen to be hungry seems to make a lot of sense. But what I'm more interested in is the blue text that says change garage code. You'll notice that right next to it is a blue stick figure wearing a crown, an obvious reference to the character of Blue, right? Well, also notice that there's a red stick figure next to it that's been erased. It seems like someone, speaking in blue, is looking to take over, take the crown for themselves, and quite literally erase Red from existence. This power struggle between the two is also reflected in the calendar that you can find in the same room. Like all the other calendars you find throughout the map, this one has July 1st marked out for a field trip, a reference to our school bus first arriving at the facility. Based on the fact that July 1st on this calendar falls on a Friday, you can actually pinpoint a few potential options for what year the game is meant to be taking place. 1994, 2005, 2011, 2016, and 2022. My money is on that 2022 mark. June 30th, 2022 is when Rainbow Friends Chapter 1 first released, and with the next day, July 1st, being circled followed by the words field trip feels like a reference that's both meta and canon. Anyway, that tells us that it's been over 30 years since the initial facility shut down in 1991. But this calendar actually gives us a lot more information. Notice that there are a couple more dates highlighted. July 4th for fireworks, which, yeah, that tracks, and July 6th for a light show. These highlighted dates, I believe, not only confirm that this calendar is up to date, but also gives us an idea of what Red is aiming for. Remember, the first chapter took place over the course of 5 nights. That means that our escape happens the evening of July 5th. That's why there are leftover fireworks for Red to use to scare the old man during Chapter 2's third challenge. However, clearly there is someone else here who's trying to foil Red's plan, because each date is scratched off using blue, including the light show that's happening on the 6th, a date that has not happened yet. Technically, that's supposed to be happening tomorrow, and underneath those dates is a note saying move to August for investigation. Whoever's writing these messages in blue is trying to stop or slow down Red's plan. The power struggle was also being referenced in Chapter 1 with this random line on a wall written in red, "You only slowed me down." Since we only have ourselves 2 named characters in this game, our list of suspects is fairly limited, especially with Trenton obviously being the old man. Unless they're introducing a new character in the next chapter, process of elimination kinda dictates that Oswald the founder must be Red. The park is named after him, he's the one in control, he's also the one who has the proper garage code as we see from the opening cutscene. It's also clear that Red and Trenton have themselves a backstory, considering Red has the chance to kill off Trenton in Challenge 3, but chooses not to, instead just using the fireworks to scare him. That then means that Trenton, our old man, must be the one in blue.
MatPat was wrong. No, he didn't know they were fireworks. He thought they were actually dynamite.
breaking into the facility, trying to strike back, and ultimately reclaim the crown for himself, erasing Red from the picture for being too ambitious, for pushing too far. Here's what I think happened. The two started the show together, helping it to grow in its early days, but then something started to change. Red, Oswald, wanted to keep growing, make more characters, make them more realistic, and Blue, Trenton, disagreed. In Chapter 2's final chase sequence, we run past robotic versions of the characters all discarded, dismantled, old animatronic versions of Blue, Orange, Green, all thrown away. I suspect that this was because they weren't good enough for Red. They weren't realistic enough. He needed something living, the actual Rainbow Funtime Friends, which came out around 1991. Along the way, Trenton was disowned, ousted from the company for being resistant to this change. Fast forward to the game today, in 2022, where I suspect that Red is now using the lookies and tainting the local water supply with them. In the chapter's final sequence, we run past exactly that. A bunch of Rainbow Friend heads, which we know are living creatures, floating past in a pipe explicitly labeled water supply. Red is up to something, trying to make everyone into a Rainbow Friend. No longer slowed down by his partner, but now that partner's back. Trenton is here and trying to sabotage his old business partner, make him stop the mad power trip that he's been on. But that also doesn't necessarily mean that Trenton's that good of a guy. You see, there's one thing that I can't quite shake in all this, and that's the Easter egg that led me to believe that Trenton was the villain in the first place. See, when you look through the glass of the terrarium in Chapter 1, Trenton's picture changes from a cool guy in a leather jacket to a man in a suit with glasses and a top hat with a purple ribbon. Clearly, Trenton is hiding something, transforming into a villainous business guy. But who or what is he? Well, I think this conspiracy actually goes much further than just Rainbow Friends. One thing that I didn't notice last chapter was that the computer screen showing Oswald's final login dates have a company name on them, RBM, an obvious parody of IBM computers, right? Well, yeah, but it's also so much more. Two awesome theorists on our game theory subreddit, Fantastic File 3903 and Rockmage1234, both pointed out that RBM computers actually appear in another Roblox game entitled The Little Ones, produced by none other than Charcoal, one of the two devs for Rainbow Friends. In fact, the cover image for that game was just updated last month. What was it updated to? Nothing. At least as far as I can tell, it's the same picture that it's always been. I suspect that it was just to draw attention back to the game, especially when RBM is right there on the monitors. So, how is Little Ones connected to the lore of Rainbow Friends? It's not, at least as far as I can tell right now. It's a game where one of your friends is kidnapped and you're forced to escape a warehouse populated with dozens of little small mutant versions of them. The 1972 generator keypad that was used in Rainbow Friends has the same keypad layout as those in Little Ones, but I don't think that's too much to go off of. I suspect that that's just reusing assets. Unfortunately, the only connection between the two seems to be through this RBM computer company. But while connections to Rainbow Friends aren't immediately obvious, there are connections to another game that's worth calling out. The massive Roblox hit Spider. In this game, one friend is bit by a spider and transforms into a horrific creature, trying to capture all the other friends. This game was made by Rainbow Friends' other dev, Roy Stanford. But again, the reason it's interesting is that there are pictures of the spider hidden inside the Little Ones. There's also a series of labeled VHS tapes, one clearly marked as Spider. Why does all that matter for Rainbow Friends? Well, because of this. Spider has one pass available for purchase, a pass that increases the odds that you can become the spider in the main gameplay. And whose face is that there, front and center on that spider pass? A businessman with glasses, a top hat, and a purple ribbon. It is the exact face that's hiding inside of Trenton's portrait in Rainbow Friends. Could this all just be a series of Easter egg connections from two devs referencing their past games? Absolutely it could. But those have already happened in other places from Rainbow Friends. In Chapter 1's lobby, you can actually go out and around this building right here, and you can see references to both of these games, Little Ones and Spider. That right there, that is an Easter egg. But to suddenly see these explicit references and connections in the gameplay itself, that now feels to me like something a little bit more. Like maybe Trenton isn't all he appears to be. That maybe he is a spider in disguise, or some nefarious businessman running all of these experimental procedures, bringing terror and dread to all these different companies. Not exactly sure yet, don't really have a solid answer. The tapes in Lost Ones are labeled as 2019, so it's possible that the lore of these three games are linked together. Trenton transforming people into monsters, be they spiders, tiny mutants, or large pillowy mascots, through spider bites, mutation, or just tainting the water supply. Speaking of, at the end of the chapter, did you notice that Trenton doesn't come with you? Despite his insistence that y'all have to leave when the Rainbow Friends appear, he stays behind. His work there is isn't done yet, and I don't suspect that he wants us to escape. There are multiple exit points as you safely go around the roller coaster, but Trenton doesn't tell you to get off at any of those. He explicitly tells us to stay on and go through the maintenance exit. Something tells me that the elevator to the surface at the end of chapter 2 isn't leading to where we expect. We're not done yet, and in a game full of rainbow-colored friends, the only true friend that we have is ourself. But hey, you don't need to be a crazy billionaire trying to turn everyone into mutant monsters to be smart with your money. You can actually do that pretty easily yourself. Bash food to the higher $10 trip this day. Dollar audio things. Thank you on your savings account. SoFi checkings and they'll even gonna make that and the best for that chance of description or sponsor today. Thanks for just a giveaway. Thanks again to SoFi for helping to sponsor today's episode, and as always, remember, it's all just a theory.
Theory. Thank you for watching. Light it up like that. I don't know what I just said that for.
10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah. So, apparently the last Game Theory is going to be a premiere on MatPat's channel. So what I'm thinking is that won't happen for a couple hours, so I'm going to record it, which I usually wouldn't do, but this time I think is a special occasion. So yeah. For now though, let's watch his most popular video, or at least part of it. Game Lab. This is the only episode that is free,
so we can explore the world.
Oh, YouTube Red original series. Sting.
I'm MatPat.
Yikes.
And this is Game Lab.
Ooh, snap.
For the last 5 years, I've made a name for myself overanalyzing video games using real-world science and math. But now, I'm taking it to the next level by throwing some of the world's most popular gamers into the scenarios we play through every day. Will the games stack up to reality? And are gamers as good in real life
as they are on screen? Welcome to Game Lab! This theme song is fire, to be honest. All of the MatPat theme songs are fire. Pow!
We're here at the Tempest Free Running Academy in Chatsworth, California to learn a little bit more about parkour so we can explore the world of Mirror's Edge. See that guy behind me? Yeah, that's not gonna be me by the end of the day. Spoiler alert, I know that's what you were expecting, but I make YouTube videos for a living, so what do you expect? Mirror's Edge was a breath of fresh air for the gaming industry when it was first released by EA in 2008. At that time, the gaming scene was dominated by gritty war games that put you in the perspective of super soldiers gunning down the enemy. But Mirror's Edge was different, bright and colorful, and with an emphasis not on shooting the enemy, but avoiding them by running. Or more specifically, free running. In the game, you play as Faith Connors, a parkour expert working against an oppressive government, leaping from rooftop to rooftop, delivering information to the resistance like the most intense UPS carrier ever. And with a sequel just released, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, I figured now was the perfect time for us gamers to learn the parkour moves seen in the game, taking, quite literally, a leap of faith. So that's a little bit about Mirror's Edge, but I can't be expected to fail at parkour all on my own. Lucky for me, I have a couple friends who are along for the ride, and I asked them to introduce themselves in a very special way. Cue the dance break!
So small games. Oh, I don't know.
Hey guys, getting all limbered up?
Getting there, getting all warmed up.
You feeling good, bro?
I gotta get real limber for this.
Can I also point out the fact that like you guys look so professional, and then us, we look like we came in our pajamas. I kid you not, these are my windbreaker pants from middle school. They're like, okay, bring athletic clothing that you guys work out in all the time. I'm like, yep. Middle school pants.
Have you broke lots of wind in those?
I'm sure I have over the years. No shame, lots of wind has been broken. Ready to do some hardcore parkour?
Yeah. Hardcore parkour!
Parkour! Ready?
Parkour.
1, 2, 3,
parkour! 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 Great.
Parkour.
1, 2.
We're bad at
Just
this.
like the graceful gazelle, we go off. Guys.
Okay.
All right, not too shabby. By the end of the day, we'll be able to do that, right?
God, no.
Set your expectations low, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
Guys, I'd like
yeah.
to introduce you to Victor, co-founder of Tempest Freerunning Academy.
Nice to meet you guys.
I like the bow there. That's very
I'm the
nice.
only one that didn't bow, and I should have bowed. Lose a late bow.
In the world of parkour, one bow.
He's the master of parkour.
Sensei parkour. So, how long you been doing this for? About 10 years, I think, right?
10 years, yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well,
Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys. Which way does it? L. Alright, yeah, this has been a really short stream. I really want to save up a lot of time for the video when the premiere for the final Game 3 happens. Like, I don't really know, dude, so. You know what, let me just voice the video. Let me just voice a video tomorrow. Why did Matt Oh, I already made that video. Seriously, I forgot I made that video already. That is wild. But, yep. Remember, Team Theorist for life. That's just a theory. And style, film, food, GT Life, game theory. Thank you for watching. I don't have any music for ending the stream, so oh yeah, you just have my voice making dumb singing sounds.